Have you ever felt that moment when someone you gave your entire life for breaks your heart with just one sentence? I lived that moment. It was around Christmas time. The whole town glowing with lights, people decorating their homes, laughter echoing through the cold air. And there I was, just waiting for one call. One call from my son. But when the phone finally rang, what I heard tore right through me. He said, "Dad, we weren't expecting you this Christmas." Just a few words, but they changed everything inside me. I went silent, tried to smile, but it felt like someone had stopped my breath. I kept thinking, where did I go wrong? Was my love not enough? Or had my presence simply become a burden? I'd given him everything. Every dream he had as a child, I turned it into reality. From his first bike to the down payment for his house, every part of it carried my sweat, my sacrifice. And now, one short sentence, one rejection, made all those years of love and effort feel like they meant nothing. That night, I couldn't sleep. I remember staring at the clock, 2 a.m. Outside, soft snow was falling, but inside me, there was a storm. I picked up my phone again, scrolled through the call log. Just 2 calls from him in 6 months. Both short, both rushed. Maybe that's how all these stories end. We parents always believe our children will never change. But time changes everything. That night, I made a decision. If my son could shut me out of his home, then I could quietly remind him whose name still holds up the walls of that very house. The mortgage wasn't just his, it was mine too. And from that moment, the story took a turn, one that changed everything. I still remember when he was just a little boy, running through the backyard with scraped knees and endless laughter. Back then, I thought being a father meant fixing broken toys, working late shifts, and pretending I wasn't tired when I came home. I thought love was enough. Every morning, I'd wake up before sunrise, drive through the cold, just to make sure he never missed a thing in life. I wanted him to have what I never did: security, comfort, and a future brighter than mine. I skipped vacations, worked overtime, and when his mother passed, I made a promise to keep the family strong no matter what. Every paycheck went toward his future. Every dream I had became his instead. I didn't regret it, not even for a second. Years later, when he got married, I felt like I'd finally done my part. He was standing there in his suit, smiling, and I thought, maybe this is what success feels like. I even helped him with the down payment for that new house, the one he now calls home. I remember signing that mortgage paper, my hand trembling slightly, but my heart filled with pride. He hugged me that day and said, "Dad, I'll never forget what you've done for me." I believed him. Foolishly, I believed him. As time went on, the calls started getting shorter. Birthdays turned into text messages. Happy Father's Day became a yearly reminder, not a real visit. I told myself he was busy. New family, new responsibilities. But somewhere deep down, I knew something had shifted. It wasn't just distance, it was silence. That quiet space between words where love used to live. And then came that one Christmas call, the one that ripped through everything. When he said he wasn't expecting me, I felt a cold. The next few days, I moved like a ghost myself. The house was quiet, only the ticking clock to keep me company. But inside that silence, a thought began to form, slow, steady, and sharper with every hour. I still had one connection to him: the mortgage. My name wasn't just on those papers for pride. It was my guarantee. I paid half of it every month without fail. I told myself I was helping him, but maybe I was just holding on to something that didn't exist anymore. I didn't act out of anger. No, it was something deeper. A father's final lesson. Sometimes Love needs to be silent to be heard. I stopped the payment. Just like that. One small decision that sent ripples through both our lives. At first, I felt guilty. Then, strangely, free. A week later, the calls began. First one, then another, then 18 missed calls in one night. The same son who didn't expect me for Christmas suddenly couldn't stop reaching out. I watched the phone light up, vibrating on the table, and for the first time in years, I didn't answer. I wanted him to feel that silence, the one he'd left me in for so long. It took him 3 days before he left a voicemail. His voice sounded different. Not angry, not proud, but scared. "Dad, I don't know what's happening with the mortgage. The bank's been calling. Can you please pick up?" I listened to that message over and over. I wanted to call him right away, but then I remembered all those months I'd spent waiting for his call. So I waited. When we finally spoke, it wasn't shouting that filled the space. It was something quieter. He said, "Dad, I messed up. I thought I was doing the right thing, keeping some distance, managing things on my own. I didn't realize I was pushing you away." His words cracked. He told me his wife had suggested spending Christmas differently, that they'd planned something small, and he didn't want me to feel out of place. Out of place. Those words stung worse than anything. I didn't yell. I just said, "Son, you can't teach love by convenience. You teach it by presence." Silence followed, and then something shifted. He said, "Dad, can I come over?" It was Christmas Eve. I didn't expect him. But that night, I heard a knock on the door. When I opened it, he was standing there. No gifts, no decorations, just tears in his eyes. "I'm sorry," he said, his voice trembling. "I forgot who helped me build everything I have." I didn't say anything. I just stepped aside and let him in. We sat together in that old living room, the same place where his laughter once filled the air. No fancy lights, no music, just a father and son, finally speaking from the heart. He told me he'd restarted the mortgage payments himself, taken full responsibility, and wanted to make things right. I could see he meant it. That night I realized, revenge isn't always about pain. Sometimes it's about awakening, making someone see what they've lost before it's too late. Christmas morning came quietly. Snow fell outside again, soft and pure. My son handed me a small box. Inside was a photo of us from years ago, framed with a note that said, "For everything you've done, I'll never forget again." I smiled. Not the kind of smile that hides pain, but the kind that comes when your heart finally rests. Sometimes, life doesn't give us perfect endings. It gives us real ones. And that morning, as the sun touched the snow, I realized forgiveness isn't weakness, it's power. Because when love is rediscovered, no revenge could ever be sweeter.